Welcome back to our viewers. We're broadcasting live from the inner city recreation park next to the Nelson Mandela Bridge, and this landmark will be switched up in blue as part of the Light It Up Blue campaign that will see 160 countries partake, and it's all about celebrating World Autism Awareness Day, and it's really about educating en masse the public about people that suffer from this condition. 1 in 68 South African children will be born with this condition. Joining me right now to talk about World Autism Awareness Day, the work that the Gauteng Education Department is doing, because alongside with Autism South Africa, they're going to sit down, they're going to have a discussion on how autism impacts not only families, children, educators, learners themselves, but they're also going to try and find some of the solutions. Joining me right now is the Provincial Education MEC, Panyaza Lesufi. MEC, good morning. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Let's get into it. It's startling figures. 1 in 68 children will be born this year with autism. I can only imagine that it must impact the education system immensely.
And the question will be, are we ready, both as a country and as a province? We already have 750 that are sitting in our classroom as I'm speaking to you now. And we're trying to liaise with organizations like Autism SA just to find a mechanism of assisting us, because as a state alone, it will be a difficult process to manage.
MEC, analyze the current state of that system for us right now, especially with the quality of education around young children, young adults that are impacted by autism.
We are limping badly, Sam. First is assessment, to have the system and the mechanism to assess these learners. And I can assure you, I don't think that we've got the facilities to do that. Secondly, to have the caliber of educators that can also assist in terms of skilling these young children. And I doubt. Thirdly, which is very, very important to me, to have the right curriculum to teach these young kids when they suffer from autism. I doubt if we have that. And lastly, which is also key, to have the facilities, to have the number of schools that will accommodate this number of learners, I doubt. And that is why I've made myself available to say we just have to work and move with speed, because we are far, far behind. If you can't gallop and cover this space, we'll let down our children.
MEC, you've highlighted quite a couple of red flag issues. You're in dialogue with Autism South Africa. Just give me a sense of what that conversation around the table will be about, and some of maybe the improvements or some of the things that you have with your team identified.
No, I went through the waiting list of learners that wants to come to our schools. We have a waiting list until the next 3 years. So there will be a child that will stay at home until the next 3 years for that child to be in our schooling environment. To me, that is completely unacceptable. So I'm opening it up. I'm converting some of our schools that we've closed around our townships to open up so that can accommodate these learners. I'm also opening up new teachers so that they can come on board and be trained and be given the resources. But Autism SA and other organizations are doing very, very well. So we can piggyback on their right rather than re-establish or reinvent the wheel. And that is why I'm meeting with them, so that where they need my assistance, I'll give that assistance immediately.
Let me see, I've got to admit, from a personal perspective, I know very little about autism. And this morning I've learned so much spending time with members from Autism South Africa. Just personally, how much do you know about autism, and what is this learning experience been like for you?
Well, I know when I started and took office, I'll get parents that will complain about learners with a slow learners. Until I was invited by Autism SA to their school. And when I went to their school, I was touched, I left that place with teary eyes when I saw some of the children, the difficulties they're going through. So it's a neurological something that we need to give the necessary assistance and attention. And that is why I'm keen to say, let's start with identification, because if you delay to identify, will worsen the situation. And our ability to identify those learners and those kind of learners, it will assist us. And I want to invest our resources in identification program, which is assessment, and then the necessary curriculum and support and access. Because if we don't have enough schools to give the support, we're not going to defeat this challenge.
You're seen as very proactive, and you're somebody who doesn't mind rolling up their sleeves and getting their hands dirty. Why were you so compelled to be part of this World Global Awareness Day?
Maybe it's because I've got a soft heart. I don't want to see children suffering. Remember, they're vulnerable, they're weak, they rely on us to be better. And any nation that doesn't take their children seriously, I will not take that nation serious as well. So my passion and my commitment is to ensure that the vulnerable groupings of society are defended.
Just give us a breakdown. So we are joining 160 countries. We are going to light up probably the most iconic structure, one of the most iconic structures in South Africa. Give us a bit of a breakdown what's going to happen today.
And the relationship is very important. Not only the color blue, which symbolizes wisdom, symbolizes trust. But to me, it's also the Nelson Mandela Bridge. We use that iconic stature of our former president to link up with the international community. We'll link up with all the international communities. We'll then learn from them. But what is very, very important is then as South Africans to take a stand, to say, children with autism are our children. They deserve our praise. They deserve our support. But above all, they deserve to get access to education.
MEC, we're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for giving us some of your time this morning and being part of this really, really important discussion. For those that don't know, it is World Autism Awareness Day. It will be, of course, celebrated across the world, and it's all about highlighting the need to improve the lives of autistic children and adults so they can live a meaningful life. A little bit more from us a little bit later. Let's go back to the studio.